Welcome back to the real Joseph Lapman. I am Joseph Lapman. Happy Free Agency Monday, Mike. It's the start of free
Happy
agency.
Free Agency Monday.
We are here. Welcome on in. If you're new here, please everybody hit the like button for me on the way in. Hit the like button for us. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And I will drop the link below if anyone wants to come up here and give their thoughts of free agency. We may have some people calling in, so we'll see. But yeah, we are here live as free agency kicks off today, Mike. We've already had a swarm of moves made around the NFL. A lot of action going on right now. Us, we're going to get into the Browns end of it, who they could be targeting now. Obviously, we'll start there, Mike. Christian Wilkins off the board, a potential Browns target.
Yep.
No surprise there. Big time money for him.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that Justin Matabuke contract completely threw it off the wagon. I mean, $27 million. To put it in perspective, though Christian Wilkins is an excellent defensive tackle, one of the best in the league, Myles Garrett, who just won Defensive Player of the Year, is making $2 million less than Christian Wilkins is now making with the Raiders. So that's crazy money, and the guarantees are even crazier. So I mean, good for the Raiders. They shored up their defensive tackle position, a position they were really lacking. I like their pass rush outside of that. Now they just need to shore up safety, corner, linebacker, and they'll have a defense. But throwing shade at the Raiders, I can't help it. But yeah, no, it's a great signing for the Raiders, and good for Christian Wilkins. Love to see a young man get paid, and that man got paid.
Yeah. He got paid all right. I mean, he definitely got paid. I guess from the Browns end of it. By the way, if anyone wants to join, the link is in the chat below. I'll pin it. So you just click on that link there, and you'll be able to join us on stage. You can come off camera as well. You just hit stop cam. Before you come up here, it's almost like calling in. So whatever you want to do, but the link is in the chat to join. So that's the link right there. But Brad Steinbrook, is that his name?
I believe, yeah, Brad Steinbrook.
Yeah, Brad Steinbrook, shout out to him. He put out a report a little bit ago that said the Browns had some interest, obviously, in Christian Wilkins, but keep an eye on players like DJ Reader and Sheldon Rankins. So what's your thoughts on that report there, Mike?
Sheldon Rankins is super underrated, but, that would be more of depth piece, because if we don't bring Shelby Harris back, I have full confidence that the Browns at least bring Mo Hurst back. They really liked him in the locker room, and his production on the field kind of had a resurgence with us. But DJ Reader is a super interesting piece that the Browns can be looking at. He was more or less the focal point of that Bengals defense for years. Super impressive at stopping the run, really good at interior pass rush. Last year he got hurt. He'll be coming off of an injury, but he could still play. Obviously, he played with Deshaun in Houston, but he's an excellent interior player. If we could get him on a multi-year deal, I'd love it. DJ Reader would be a perfect complement to that room. The Browns obviously know him really well because we've been playing him for years. But that's a bigger loss for the Bengals, seeing as it looks like they have no intention of bringing him back, because kind of you saw the Bengals run defense, which already wasn't fantastic, but it was at least serviceable when DJ Reader was still on the team. You saw it just completely fall off the wagon after he left. So I think he would be a great addition to the Browns, and we could probably get him on a multi-year deal for 18-ish, maybe 20-ish, which would be great for a player of his caliber. But yeah, and Sheldon Rankins, don't get me wrong, he's a good piece, but like I say, he'd be more of a depth piece in my opinion. And kind of a younger option if we don't want to, or if Shelby doesn't want to come back.
Well, I think too they got options now because you got Jerry Jeudy in the trade. I think now you're sitting there at 54. You can move up if you like to. If there's a receiver there you like, or a D tackle maybe that falls, you can get one of them. So yeah, they got options now. And I hear a trade. You never know. A trade may not be on the table. It's something we're not even thinking of. I mean,
right. And
I mean, Greg Newsom probably is. A lot of people think will be traded, but still to be seen what we'll get for him. You know what I mean? Could you get some picks from that, use it in another trade to get a player back? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, the Commanders are in a full rebuild. A name that's been floated out there multiple times that we talked about, Jonathan Allen, who is an excellent player. It looks like they are selling and they are going to trade a lot, but it looks like Deron Payne, who we were in love with last year, it is like their cornerstone of their franchise at the moment. So they're probably not going to be moving off of a Deron Payne unless it's for a lot, and the Browns don't have a lot to give. But I think Jonathan Allen can probably be had for a second. And if you do get rid of Greg and get a second in a trade for Greg, I think the Browns would do that. And you get the added bonus that Jonathan Allen's already under contract that he signed 2 years ago. So at this point, it's under market value if you did trade for that contract and that player. For the kind of player Jonathan Allen is, the contract definitely doesn't reflect that anymore, because the defensive tackle market the past 2 years, we have just seen, it went through the damn ceiling. And it started last year with, Javon Hargrave and, Deron Payne and all them guys. And now this year, Dalvin. And then we signed Dalvin, and now this year with Justin Matabuke, Christian Wilkins, and my God, I don't know how much money Chris Jones is about to get, but it's about to be insane.
You got paid last night.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, you didn't see that? Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't. Oh, you're breaking news to me.
I thought you saw it. Yeah, so here, I'll put this up on the screen. Give me 1 second.
What is it, like $30 million a year?
Yeah, so we had a couple signings last night.
In the dead of night while I was asleep.
All right, so let me get this on the screen here. So we'll start. There's a lot of news. We'll go through each one and break it down. So starting here, since Mike was living under a rock last night, no, I'm just messing with you. But
I'm playing the new Final Fantasy, man. It's so good.
Yeah. But yeah, Chris Jones agrees to a 5-year, $95 million guaranteed deal with the Chiefs. Mike,
that's low. That's low for him, honestly. I mean, that's what, almost like $24 million a year. Oh, he could have gotten so much more if he would have walked. Yeah, that's super low. Good for him. Good for the Chiefs, I guess.
What's your thoughts? Mac Jones traded to the Jaguars. I'm a little. I don't know why the Jaguars were doing this. To be honest with you, I mean, I get Trevor Lawrence had a bad year last year, but he's.
I think they just want a backup. I think the injuries scared him. I think that's what it is. The quarterback injuries, and I can't remember who, but one NFL insider but during the season said that he wouldn't be surprised if this offseason backup quarterback became like a huge focal point for a lot of teams because of all the quarterback injuries. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, everybody and their mother was hurt last year. So maybe that's what they were thinking, because, I mean, they gave a 6th-round pick for Mac Jones, which, I mean, isn't terrible value, but he's going into the last year of his deal. And if you're wanting him to be a backup, or maybe you're just worried, I don't think it's so much of, maybe, Trevor Lawrence, we're going to bench him for Mac Jones. I don't think that's what that is at all. It's a weird move, because I feel like the Jags could have just drafted a kid, but
yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. It's
you have a verifiable backup who has started in the NFL, who's a decent enough, I guess. If Trevor Lawrence gets hurt, but I
don't think it puts pressure on Trevor. Obviously,
no.
I
don't think that's what this
the talent level is not comparable. But, but yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see him go to a place like Jacksonville. I thought maybe a team like Denver, or like a stopgap team for a year, maybe just see with rolling dice on the kid. But if
maybe they were doing him a favor too. Because fun fact, Mac Jones is a huge Jaguars fan. Like,
there you go. So
there's
maybe I don't know. I don't think Mac.
There's some old school Instagram pictures of him in a Blake Bortles jersey. So like, I don't know. Maybe it was like a.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
One of those.
Well, legend Fletcher Cox retiring from the Philadelphia Eagles. Shout out to Fletcher Cox on a great
Super Bowl champion, Hall of Fame defensive tackle.
Yeah, so Fletcher goes there, or not goes anywhere. He retires. Safety Kevin Byard on a 2-year deal worth $15 million to the Chicago Bears. Your thoughts, Mike?
Highway robbery. He was not used to his strengths at all in Philadelphia at all.
No.
He is a Grant Delpit kind of safety, and he's a run stopping box safety, almost like a third running back, or I'm sorry, linebacker. He was completely misused in Philadelphia, and like Grant Delpit was misused here for years until last year. So it's a steal for the Bears. Congratulate, they go from all-pro safety Eddie Jackson, releasing him, to all-pro safety Kevin Byard.
Yeah.
So congratulations to the Bears for
You want to talk
staying
about
even keel.
You want to talk about a bad coaching job last year? Just no look further than the Philadelphia Eagles, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh! Speaking of our old guy, our Browns quarterback, Baker Mayfield, shout out to Shake and Bake. 3 years, $100 million, $50 million guaranteed.
Good for Bake. It's a great story. I think it was kind of funny how Browns fans were like, oh, there's always going to be that huge what if with Baker Mayfield. It's like, how is there a what if? He was here for 4 years. There's no what ifs. We saw. It's a great comeback story. I'm happy for him, what have you. But Mike Evans also made Johnny Manziel look really good too. So I'm just going
to. There's more expectations going into the next year, so we're going to see now. And I'm not a Baker hater. I'm not one of those guys. I actually like Baker in a lot of ways. I'm glad he did some nice things for us. Helped us get back to the playoffs. I understood why they moved on at the end. I think it was best for both sides to part ways. I just think it ran its course, and
he was asking for way more money than that.
Well, that, and then there's some stuff that happened in the locker room his last year. That got divided with the whole Dell thing, and although I kind of side with Baker on that, to be honest with you, but I just think it was he needed, and here you're seeing a guy who's matured before your own eyes. When he was here, there was still some questions, and I think he probably would admit it. He's grown up and he's become a lot more, not only mature off the field, but mature on the field as well. And you see it in his play. And I think he's found a nice thing down there. And to be honest with you, Mike, I think the Buccaneers, I was listening to my man, Coach JB today. Shout out to JB this morning. I listen to him every morning, him and Big Smitty. But he made a great point too. I think what this signals to you as well is, I think Tampa Bay just looked around the market and they're like, we don't see a quarterback we can get in the draft that can help us maintain where we were last year. And clearly they don't think maybe Justin Fields or anybody out in the market can elevate them either. So they're like, you know what? This guy, 4,000 yards last year. We made the playoffs to the division round. We're a game-winning drive away, possibly winning that game. 3 years, 100 million, only 50 guaranteed. I agree with the Bucs here on this one. I think when they look at the rest of the landscape, I agree with that point. I think when you look at the rest of the landscape, there just wasn't anybody else out there they can get that was a significant upgrade. Maybe Kirk Cousins is better, but I don't know if you really want to do that. Mike Evans and him have chemistry after a year. You just re-signed Mike. Baker's good in Tampa, and I know Tampa's like my second home. I lived there for a period, basically. So I think Baker's well in that does well in that market. But our buddy Dan was, excited about it too, and it made a lot of sense. So, but shout out to Baker. What are your thoughts though on that? Just them probably not seeing anybody out in the market.
Yeah, that makes sense. Justin Fields is pretty much even keel. I think Kirk Cousins is an upgrade. But he is going to be, Kirk Cousins is more expensive, as
he was injured last year too, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he's not injury prone by any stretch of the imagination. And, he's a little bit bigger, a little bit more sturdy than Bake. So which leads into the next thing. Congratulations to the Falcons, who should absolutely win that division next year.
Well, we'll get to that. Here, I'll get to that right now. All right, yeah, so we'll get to it. So, hold on, let me scroll. You jumped ahead a little bit. That's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I don't know the way it's appearing on the timeline.
There ain't no real plan. That's why it's called the reel. We just go on the fly. I just got to find. All right, so right before, about an hour ago, I think it was, right, Mike? Kirk Cousins agrees to a 4-year deal with the Falcons.
Captain Kirk.
I think I read the numbers. I think it was, so 4-year deal, $180 million, $100 million guaranteed.
Yep.
Kirk Cousins. I'm going to be honest with you, though, Mike. I like Kirk Cousins. I like the guy. I think he's a good dude. I like what he stands for, what his faith and everything. But I feel like Justin Fields was a better fit in Atlanta than Kirk Cousins. I really do. I just think you got the personnel they have with Bijan Robinson, a lot of the speed they have. Kyle Pitts, the way they can use him, get him involved more. I think if they would have, especially the new OC now, if Arthur Smith was still in Atlanta as the OC, this would make sense to me because he fits Arthur Smith's offense more. Justin Fields to me fits more of that RPO. I mean, imagine an RPO with Fields and Bijan Robinson, and you got Kyle Pitts out there on the flat, and you got all these. They got Drake London, get some other receivers in there. I just feel like Fields to me made more sense, and I think you could have gone for cheaper too, put money elsewhere. But I'm not mad at this. I mean, Kirk Cousins, I think, will do well in Atlanta. But I don't know. I just think.
I mean, they got plenty of weapons, and I think they're going to add a weapon in the draft. And Kirk Cousins definitely can air it out. He's a great passer of the football. And then you got your running back. I mean, yes, does Justin Fields add a whole different aspect to the game? Yes, but like they have Bijan Robinson, they have Tyler Algier, the running attack and didn't need a whole
I
much
get it.
more.
And obviously, Kirk Cousins is a lot more proven than Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Kirk's been a pretty good player. I mean, great at times.
Yeah,
but
if Atlanta can fix their defense, if the new coach of the Falcons, who's a defensive mastermind, can fix that defense, Raheem Morris, thank you.
Who I like from the
I liked him a lot. If they can fix that defense, the Falcons should absolutely walk away with that division.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be. I think the Bucks aren't going anywhere. I don't think the Bucks are just gonna. They surprised me last year, and I think their coach. I can't. His name just. I'm thinking of the other. What's their Bucks coach name? It just slipped my mind.
Todd.
Todd Bowles. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking something. Yeah, it's Todd. I thought Todd Bowles did a hell of a job last year. Didn't get enough credit for the job he did with a team that had low expectations going into the year, and as well as they played down the stretch and winning that playoff game. I thought Todd Bowles he's proven he's a really good head coach in this league. I like Todd a lot. Now they did lose their offensive coordinator, so that's going to be a big deal. I think possibly that's my only concern with the Bucks, because what they had last year worked really good. And we saw what happened when Baker, his rookie year, when Freddie was just the OC. It looked pretty good. It was creative. It fit Baker's style more. They let Baker be a little loose. Tampa this year kind of let Baker be Baker a little bit, and it worked. But now you got I don't know who the new OC is, but I mean that's going to be interesting to see what the Bucks do, how that offense looks with the new OC. Because that you know how it is. I mean, when you transition like that, doesn't mean it's going to drop off, but it is a change. I mean, and so, but I think the Bucks can compete in the division still. But I agree with you. If I had to bet my money, I'd probably go Atlanta. I feel like it's their time.
Yeah, I agree.
Feel like Atlanta's just been like a team just hanging out just hanging out there for a while, kind of competitive, but they just haven't had that guy at quarterback.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's gonna be a tight division, probably better than it was last year.
Right.
What do you think is the shittiest division right now in the entire league?
That's hard. I mean, it's still got to be the NFC South.
Yeah.
I mean, at least until further notice.
No, I feel like the AFC South's a little shitty too.
Yeah, I mean, the Jags are always competitive. The Colts are on the come up though, and Houston's competitive.
Anybody put it in the chat. What's the worst division in all football right now?
It's definitely one of the South divisions. It's just a matter of which one you think. I mean, maybe it could be the AFC East this year. Kirko just got paid. Yeah, we know.
Mr. Mihalik, our fellow Falcons fan, said Kirko just got paid.
Captain Kirk, buddy.
Geez, we overpaid for Kirk.
He always makes that much money, bro. You just didn't know it. You're the first team to give him, I think, a 4-year deal. He was on the Vikings on just 2-year total guaranteed deal year after year after year. No, that's just how Kirk rolls, bro. He's made more guaranteed money than any other quarterback ever.
Damn. Yeah, that's interesting. Corey, somebody leave a comment below. Anybody watching, what is the worst division in football right now? That's a good question. I might go the AFC South. I don't know. Because I feel like outside of Jacksonville, it's just all shitty teams. Well,
bro, that is maybe the NFC North.
Forgot about the Texans. I forgot about them.
NFC North, maybe? No, not really, because the Packers are on the come up. Lions are great. Bears could be on the come up, maybe, but like
Bears
they're off season darlings every year.
He says the AFC or NFC South.
Yeah, that's what I said. One of the South divisions. I don't know. Everybody's like weirdly competitive.
I don't know. It's weird. I actually, you know what? I probably would go. Shit.
How about this? How about this? Worst team, worst run, worst talent, worst everything in the NFL is on 1, 2, 3. Really? I was going to say the Panthers.
I don't think Bryce Young's that bad. I think Bryce Young was put in a bad situation.
David Tepper, how they've handled everything.
Yeah,
they could have had
the whole entirety.
I just mean worst team overall. I think
I'm thinking like roster. I think next year the Broncos might have the worst roster in the entire league. But
yeah, but I think they're
worst run organization by far is
Carolina.
Definitely David Tepper. I mean, the guy threw a drink on a fan. So
yeah. I can't believe that last year they said no to two first round picks for Brian Burns, and now they're going to have to give him away for like a fourth.
Yeah. Well, got a question for you, Mike. He said, Mike, who's signing Justin Simmons?
You know, that is
a hot free agent safety.
There's a lot of hot free agent safeties, buddy. I mean, there's Eddie Jackson is still out there, Jordan Poyer, Justin Simmons, Kevin Byard's off the board now, but there are dudes everywhere. Justin Simmons. You know, the Eagles are always good for like a swing on defense, but I think they already made a big swing. They signed Bryce Huff, I think, for 3 years.
Yeah.
So, damn. Trying to think. Maybe the Bengals, if they spent any money, would spend money there. But
yeah, I think the Bengals make sense. I think the Eagles might make sense now since they lost their safety. They need,
but they've already
help.
They've spent money already, and I don't know if they just signed
back there though. My gosh,
they've spent a lot of money on Bryce Huff and Saquon Barkley. So
he just took the worst. I think Philly. I was about to say the Lions too because the Lions probably had the worst secondary last year.
Well, they need corners is what they need. Brian Branch is great.
They need depth though. They need numbers. I mean, if you can get a guy like Justin Simmons in there, you can pay for him to do it. I mean, I agree with they need more corners, but I think Philly makes sense because they need somebody back there.
Maybe the Packers.
What does Dallas have? What's Dallas' safety looking like?
Green Bay lost Darnell Savage.
That could be one. Green Bay. I'm looking at that side too. I think Green Bay, Dallas, maybe Dallas
makes sense,
and he's a known name. Yeah, I think Dallas or Green Bay. Speaking of Green Bay, though, Mike, they also made a signing today with Mr. Josh Jacobs, who I love, a great running back, hard-nosed runner, great player, very versatile. I think that's a big loss for the Raiders not being able to bring him back.
Huge loss.
What do you think of this signing right here, Mike?
I love it for Green Bay. You know, you saw what you wanted to out of Jordan Love, and you want to lean heavy on the run game because, that's how you open up Jordan Love and those young receivers. And Aaron Jones isn't getting any younger.
Mm-hmm.
Quandre Diggs is available. I didn't even think of him. I forgot he was on the market. He's an all-pro safety as well. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. There's so many dudes. The Browns will pick up one of those guys. I cannot tell you who.
You think?
We need a third safety, and why not? If we can get Jordan Poyer on a 2-year deal for like $7 million a year, why not?
I think Poyer makes sense because I think he wouldn't mind being a rotational guy.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. None of the bigger names. We ain't signing any of them.
And if we do trade Greg and you add a safety like that, you don't have to worry about that because Poyer can line up in the slot.
Right. He makes a lot of sense.
And he's fantastic. But as far as the signing goes, I think it's great for Green Bay. Aaron Jones, like I said, isn't getting any younger. Yeah. AJ Dillon is also a free agent. They needed running back help. I thought they were just going to draft one, but this isn't the strongest class for running back if you want like a featured back. Mm-hmm. So I think it makes a ton of sense for Green Bay. I think he's now like the oldest player on the team, though, which is funny. He's not even that old. But yeah, good for Green Bay. I thought that was really smart. Now they just need some defensive secondary help.
Yeah, because they lost their boy Darnell Savage, 3-year deal to the Jaguars. So the Jags are getting pretty aggressive right now. I mean, they made a trade for a quarterback. They're bringing in Darnell Savage.
I don't like that signing. Darnell Savage. I mean, you talk to any Green Bay fan. Darnell Savage is not like he's okay. He's okay.
I liked him coming out of Maryland. He was really good.
Yeah, but as a pro, he's underachieved a lot. I don't love that signing for the Jags. I think they overpaid him a little bit.
The Philadelphia Eagles did bounce back and signed somebody after
Big Bryce Huff.
retired. Bryce Huff, 3-year deal, $51 million. What do you think of that one?
I love it. Bryce Huff, you know, he might have been like overshadowed a little bit because that pass rush in New York is just so deep. But Bryce Huff's pressure rate, there's only one guy who had a higher like success rate on pressures, and that's Myles Garrett. Bryce Huff is a dude.
Whoa.
And yeah, but he's a dude. I think that's great for Philadelphia, since they're probably not going to be keeping Josh Sweat or Hassan Reddick, and they're gonna, you know, Bryce Huff's younger. You're getting younger. You're going to be throwing Nolan Smith a run by shuffle. Yep. Yeah, Tony. We didn't even talk about most of the running backs yet.
Well, we're gonna get to it. Well, yeah, running back shuffle. We're gonna get to that in a minute. Corey throws smoke. Jeremy said, "How about Aaron Jones to the Ravens?" And Corey said Derrick Henry to the Ravens.
I feel like the Ravens want to pay money there, but they need to go. They need to go deep there. So
yeah, I think
Aaron Jones makes more sense financially. And like production wise, he was actually pretty similar to Derrick Henry last year, but then again, the Titans were a shell of themselves.
Well, I think Aaron
I could see them going in
because it gives Lamar another check down option.
Yeah. I think
schematically Aaron Jones probably makes more sense.
He does make more sense. I think they would overpay for Derrick Henry if they could, but you know, J.K. Dobbins is a free agent and he's been hurt a bunch. Gus Edwards is a free agent unless they signed him to another 1 year. I haven't been paying attention. So they're -2 running backs, and then their star UDFA they picked up Keaton Mitchell's coming off of an injury, but they need 2 running backs. I think they'll address it in the draft, but again, like we were just talking about, it's not super deep at running back. There's probably like 2 or 3 guys I really think are like starting caliber, at least like RB2 caliber guys. Yeah. There's not a lot this draft. So
you know, where I think Derrick Henry's going to end up is Kansas City.
They're not the team to overpay for running back. They've never been.
I think he'll actually take a little less to go try to win. I really do. I think you put him in that scheme with Kansas City. Good
I don't
grief.
think
now you got to worry about that up the middle.
I think if anywhere, the Chargers. If he's going to the AFC West, the Chargers will pay him what he wants. I guarantee it. They pay him whatever he wants.
Well, I agree, and I like that. I mean, I think Harbaugh. I mean, they like running the ball.
Because Harbaugh needs a good running game. Yeah, Austin Eckler ain't coming back. I like Joshua Kelly, but
the Chiefs might. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs got a surprise signing like that.
I mean, they just spent a shit ton of money. So
I know. But, I mean, they're a destination now. Guys are going to take less.
What's that Spaceballs quote? Oh, we're not just doing this for money. We're doing it for a shitload of money.
Speaking of the LA teams, though, the Rams, shout out to Ohio State, Jonah Jackson, offensive line, 3 years, $51 million. I like that signing there. I think Jonah's a pretty good player. That's a loss, though, for the Lions. I mean, he's a pretty good player on the line.
That's a lot of friggin' money. That's holy shit.
Jeremy said, "Love you all. Have a great day." Love you too, Jeremy.
Nah. Love you, Jeremy. Be safe. Don't drown.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Mr. Ohio State, former Buckeye Jonah Jackson, securing the bag.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah. I like it, though. I think he's a really good player. I think the Lions are going to have to definitely replace him. That's going to be interesting to see what they do. Maybe probably in the draft, maybe you might see a Roger Rosengarten going there now. But
no, he can't. He's going to be in Cleveland.
I agree. I want him.
He's not allowed. He's not allowed to go to Detroit.
All right, Chris.
No.
But
hit you with the Dikembe Mutombo.
No. So yeah, Corey, our man Corey, already put this one in the chat. Gabe Davis to the Jags. I like Gabe Davis. I think he's a pretty good player. Only 24.
Did you see how much he's making?
A 3-year deal. I'll pull that up in a second. But what's your thoughts? I think again the Jaguars aggressive.
Yeah, I already saw how much
I like this weapon for Trevor Lawrence. I think Gabe Davis still got a little more upside. So.
I saw how much he's making, and wholly overpay Batman. Like, it's ugly.
3 year,
Like,
$39 million.
Yeah. No.
I'm kind of glad we went with Jerry Jeudy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that is an overpay. My buddy Dan Mitchell, shout out Dan Mitchell. If you're a Bills fan, he runs the Bills talk show, and we were talking about it. And every Bills fan was not sad to see Gabe Davis go. He's underachieved a lot. He has struggles to get separation. That's an overpay. And
I like the player. I think 24. I think he's been pretty good at times.
I would have said yes to like a 224 deal.
But I think people got to remember too, the cap just went up $30 million. So a lot of these the numbers we're seeing, we're still thinking of the past cap.
I know, but if you're going to spend that kind of money on that kind of receiver, then.
But there wasn't many out there.
I know.
That's the problem. I think he was actually probably the better one available because of the age and then
he was probably
the upside.
Honestly, the best one available is probably, in my opinion, Hollywood Brown. Curtis Samuel's a second, and then I'd put Gabe Davis. But he was
like Corey said, Calvin Ridley's I like Calvin Ridley. I think there's upside there as well.
Back to the Falcons. I think that bridge is burned, my dude.
He said they aren't going to keep Calvin. I don't think so.
I don't think they're going to keep Calvin
because they're Calvin's going to get paid. And now Gabe Davis. I mean,
yeah, Calvin Ridley is going to go get paid somewhere, but it ain't going to be back at the Falcons. That bridge is long gone. I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers pay him more money than he's worth to try and fix something. They've been strangely quiet.
They got to do something. I don't know. Yeah, where's the good spot for Calvin Ridley? Who else needs receivers? I mean, shoot. What about the Jets?
The Ravens,
opposite of Garrett Wilson.
The Ravens,
possibly. I think the Jets could be an option for somebody.
Jets, maybe.
Opposite of Garrett, you got healthy Aaron Rodgers coming back. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, Saints could be an option.
Chiefs, I like that too. The Chiefs. I mean,
I don't like that.
Although I think Calvin's going to want to get paid. I just don't, like you said, the money standpoint. I don't know if the Chiefs.
But the Chiefs are real strapped right now.
Yeah, going back to Jeremy's point about the running back shuffle today, Tony Pollard, Mike, going to the Titans. Your thoughts?
I mean, I like Tony Pollard. I don't understand what the Titans are doing. I don't know why you sign a running back when you're in the midst of a rebuild with a first-year head coach. It doesn't make much sense to me. I get they just lost Derrick Henry and they kind of let on the run game, but I just don't get it. Why not just draft a Jonathan Brooks in the high second round? I mean, you got to build up from the bottom now. I mean, I don't hate the signing in and of itself. Like I said, I like Tony Pollard as a player. It's just I just don't understand why Tennessee did that, if I'm being honest.
Well, and this is why, when everybody in Dallas will say, we got Tony Pollard, get rid of Zeke and all this. Look, I think Tony Pollard's a nice player, but Tony Pollard's best years were when he had Zeke, and Zeke was that dude at running back 1. He made Tony Pollard look pretty good.
Tony Pollard had 1,000 yards last season, though. I mean, he's no pushover.
He did. He's not. No, I say he's a really good player, but I think he's at his best when he was complimentary with somebody else. And so I agree with you. I mean, I get it. You got to spend money. You're rebuilding, and he's younger still, technically. So it's not bad. I don't know. I think the draft might have been more of a better option for them.
I agree.
Yeah. I just think,
I agree.
If I'm Tony Pollard,
everything going on.
If Tony Pollard went to a place like with just the Jets or something, with Breece Hall, what they were trying to do with the 2 backs last year, that would make more sense to me.
Right.
But I get he's getting the bag, so shout out to him. But let's see here. I think we covered most of the signings, Mike, all the big ones.
I think we did.
We'll get to the biggest one though, which affects the Browns kinda. In a second. Also, Jonathan Grenard. He went to the Vikings.
Overpaid. I saw
Deion
that.
Dawkins. The Bills extend left tackle Deion Dawkins.
Good for them. Speaking of, I was watching Danny Boy's show, and he trolled the whole Bills fan base. He trolled him. He was like, "Well, it's been real, Buffalo," and he put that on his Instagram, and it was real, and it was on purpose, and the whole fan base was freaking out. And then he signs an extension, so he trolled his fan base.
Going back to the last running back with DeAndre Swift, 3-year, $24 million deal. I know you mentioned him with the Browns, possibly as an option. He's going to the Bears now, which
I think it's great.
It'd been nice to did this for Justin Fields last year because he needs a running back like that. But
Caleb Williams has got his running back buddy.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Good luck to them. But your thoughts that DeAndre Swift getting that kind of 3-year, $24 million?
I think it's a great deal for him, honestly. He's a starting caliber running back. He played kind of second fiddle last year, but he is truly a starting caliber. He can catch the ball really well. He's a great runner. He's great at breaking tackles. I've always been a fan. I think he's going to do great in Chicago. Yeah, good for the Bears. I think they've had a really, last year they really overpaid a lot just because they had a shit ton of money to kind of throw around. But
yeah,
the trade deadline last season, grabbing Montez Sweat, and now Kevin Byard, getting him on at a little bit of a discount, and signing DeAndre Swift for that amount of money. I think the Bears are actually having a very solid, smart free agency right now.
Yeah, and another receiver option we talked about, Michael Pittman, re-signing, getting extended with the Colts, 3-year, $70 million, $46 million guaranteed, Mike. Which, no surprise there. Good young player, got to hang on to him.
25, 24 million. I mean, I guess it's not horrible. Receivers are expensive now. That's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah. I mean, I think it's
guaranteed.
Yeah, it's not bad. So, I mean, he's good. Like, I've always been a fan of Pittman, but,
Mr. Mahalik says, what do you guys think about Justin Jefferson to Minnesota?
Or future in Minnesota.
Future Minnesota.
I think that Minnesota really wants to move up in this year's draft. And I think Justin Jefferson is the perfect bargaining chip for that. So,
yeah,
that's what I think. I think they're going to grab Jaden Daniels or someone like that, because right now I think they're picking 11. So,
let me pull up the draft board here.
Pretty sure
I like Jaden Daniels a lot, to be honest with you. Probably maybe more than most other quarterbacks in the draft. I like him. Plus, and not only that, Minnesota, he's not outside, he's in a dome. So, he can be affected by the cold. Let's see here. He said they have the 11th pick?
I think.
Yes, they do. All right, so let me pull this up here. All right, so the NFL draft order, not the ad. I'm so sick of these ads that pop up, Mike. It's just constant ads. All right, Gronkowski, we see you. But so here's the draft order. We got the Bears, Commanders, Patriots, Cardinals, Chargers, Giants, Titans, Falcons, Bears, Jets. Any of those teams you think they can move up with?
Well,
I feel like New York could be a team because they.
I don't think because New York wants to take a quarterback. I think so? I think if anything, I don't like that. Trade Justin Jefferson for the 5th overall pick, and then get Jaden Daniels, and then Justin Herbert gets Justin Jefferson with Harbaugh.
Oh boy!
Because it would go Williams, May. New England would probably take. Well, they might no.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Arizona's not taking a quarterback. Maybe no. New England might not like any of the quarterbacks this year, and they might take a left tackle to start their rebuild.
If I'm New England, I'm hoping the Bears swap with the Commanders. Let's say they stick with Fields, and the Commanders take Williams. Bears probably take Marvin, and then the Patriots can probably get Drake May, who they like. But
the Patriots really like Bo Nix, so I don't know if maybe they trade back to just take Bo Nix later, but I mean, if the best case scenario, I think Justin Jefferson could be a Charger. I mean, and then they get
Chargers. I could see the Chargers. I think the Giants, although the Chargers are some cap.
And then they wouldn't even have to give up pick 11. So you get your quarterback, and then you can pick best available wide receiver at 11, and then you already have Jordan Addison in the wings. So I don't hate the Minnesota Vikings position right now, and we know Kwesi is a Andrew Berry product, so he's going to be doing his thing.
What's your thoughts on T. Higgins asking for a trade request today from the Bengals?
I thought it is exactly what was going to happen.
All right.
I mean, he's getting traded somewhere. They're going to trade him to the NFC, and is what it is. I'm glad he's out of the division. It's going to be even easier for Joe Burrow to lose against the Bears.
Who do you think would be a suitor for him? How the NFC, you think?
I mean,
the Falcons?
The Falcons are a great pick, actually. I think you could get T. Higgins for. I mean, that first round, the 8th pick's high for T. Higgins. I think you could probably get him for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
The
Corey, if you're watching, Corey, if you're watching, what do you think about T. Higgins to the Falcons?
I think the Panthers have always been on the mind because they really just want to get Bryce Young a true wide receiver one. Yeah, so I think they could really, they would really be desperate to trade away a lot. I don't think the Saints are really an option. Arizona is a unique option. They do have plenty of picks. They have 2 first-round picks. They need offensive line.
Yeah, they need picks. I think I could see the Cardinals probably make the most sense.
The Cardinals make a lot of sense because they're sticking with Kyler, and they were bad last year, but they were only bad because they didn't have the right pieces. I like Jonathan Gannon a lot. I like their offensive coaching staff. I think they're well run now. I like their new front office, and I like their new coaching staff a lot. They just need to get right pieces. And I've never been a Kyler Murray hater. I always liked Kyler's game. So I think if you trade that second first-round pick they have this year for T. Higgins, you get him a true wide receiver one, someone who can run the complete route tree, who can be a deep threat, who's one of the most impressive 50-50 ball catchers, I think, in the NFL. I think that makes a ton of sense for them, and I think it helps them at least, turns them, I wouldn't say into a contender, but like a wild card team possibly in the weak NFC. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals are an option, and I think the Rams are going to try to be aggressive in some way. I could see maybe them trying to put them opposite of Puka. That could be another team as well. The team that used to be aggressive, but now they're just kind of like dormant. You just nothing is the Saints. You know what I mean? Like, just nothing. Well, really. They got Chris Olave, but their quarterback position, it's like who's going to play quarterback?
They're in the same position that the Steelers are in, except they don't have as good of a head coach. They had Drew Brees for exactly. They had Drew Brees for 16, 17 years or whatever. He was their bell cow. You could do whatever you wanted because Drew Brees was there, and then you just trying to spend money, draft high, and then you lose your franchise quarterback of almost 2 decades, and you're starting at square one, and kind of the Steelers are going through the same thing. The Saints tried to plug and play Derek Carr, didn't work, which is weird because I actually like Derek Carr a lot. I thought it was actually going to be an easy win for that division, but didn't work out for the Saints. And the Steelers picked Kenny Pickett in the first round a couple years ago. They're kind of thinking that's not going to work. They signed Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal,
and the Saints are sitting there at 14th. I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike. If Justin Fields can go anywhere, it might be the Saints. I mean, you're sitting at 14th in the draft. By that point, I mean, the only guy I would even consider taking who would be there possibly, maybe Michael Penix, although I think he might be gone. I think the quarterbacks are going to kind of go early. McCarthy, maybe. I think Justin Fields to the Saints now makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense. I wouldn't hate that. Justin Fields, I feel bad for the kid. He's kind of like stuck in limbo. You know where Justin Fields would make sense?
Well, I say the Saints because you're pairing him back with his best receiver he ever played with, Chris
Yeah.
Olave.
I
There's
think
comfort.
I think the Giants need to, or the Jets need to trade for Justin Fields. If I'm the Jets after that Aaron Rodgers injury and the debacle that was the backup, I would
You
trade
know
for
what?
Justin
I
Fields.
actually don't mind the Jets for him because he can go sit and learn from a GOAT.
Yeah.
And I think he would be ready by the time. Kind of similar with the Jordan Love thing, except he's a little older.
And
But
you
he
get
also
him back with his boy
yeah,
Garrett Wilson.
right. I
Yeah.
think the Jets or the Saints probably make the most sense. If he goes to the Jets, he's gonna have to sit and learn, but that's okay. Doesn't mean you won't be a good player down the road. And then I think if you go to the Saints, there's low expectations. You got your boy Olave back. You can kind of grow and get your feet wet, and maybe in 2 years from now, you're back in the playoff hunt. So
Yeah.
But Mike, we got to touch on the big one. I've saved it for last. Our division last night, the Pittsburgh Steelers made a signing that people are going nuts in Pittsburgh about today. Talking about let's ride Pittsburgh and all this stuff. Russell Wilson, Mike, is a Pittsburgh Steeler. Your
Yep.
thoughts?
I mean, he's better than Kenny Pickett.
That's your answer.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
better than Kenny Pickett.
It's a 1-year deal.
No more two-glove Kenny.
He's a shell of himself. I mean, a Steelers Twitter page was like saying that their quarterback woes were over, and they were showing highlights from the Obama administration. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, good for Pittsburgh. They're better today than they were yesterday.
They're showing LeBron Miami Heat highlights.
Yeah, dude. I saw Brady Quinn's stat on the bottom of the screen of the
Guardians used to be the Indians at one point.
Yeah, dude.
We're showing those.
Gerard Mayo was on one of the highlight reels, and he's a head coach now.
Braxton Miller was the quarterback of Ohio State.
Bruh, I mean, he's better. I mean, it's a 1-year rental that they're hoping that he's going to mentor Kenny or something. I don't know what the Steelers are doing,
I'm getting the bag he's getting major money from Denver still, so it makes sense for him to take less money because he's still getting paid.
Yeah.
And if he plays well next year, and let's say maybe they rip off 9-10 games to sneak in the playoffs, maybe win a game, he gets that Baker Mayfield kind of contract. Now he's sitting on he secured the bag for sure. Golly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, they're better. They're better than today than they were yesterday. But am I scared of Pittsburgh more today than I was yesterday? Not really. I mean, I still think they're the 4th best team in the division. I mean, considering health, if Joe Burrow's healthy, I think the Bengals are going to go back to being competitive. If Deshaun Watson stays healthy, even if he doesn't, we're still going to be competitive. And, the Ravens are the Ravens. As long as Lamar's there, they're going to be competitive. And I'm not saying the Steelers are a bad team, but the AFC North is the greatest division in football for a reason, and they're just the 4th best. That is what it is.
By the way, Corey, my uncle Brent, shout out to my uncle Brent. He just texted me. He said, "Bet Corey is happy. Kirk Cousins."
Mm-hmm. Dude, Corey, I think Captain Kirk is a great.
I think it's good too. I just want to see my boy Fields succeed. I like Captain Kirk though. I like Kirk Cousins a lot. I agree it's a good signing, but Mike, what's your overall outlook now in the AFC North? You got the Browns, obviously now Russell. Now we just talked about with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got Joe Burrow coming back. Obviously, they got some holes they got to fill now. Losing Joe Mixon as well. T. Higgins on the trading block, and the Ravens have a lot of free agents. Although they just signed probably their biggest one. But
Justin Madubuike was the biggest.
They still got a lot of holes too because they get a lot of guys up for pending free agency. So
and Patrick Queen is still available.
Who I love Patrick Queen. I think Patrick Queen.
He's a dog, dude.
I wouldn't mind if he became a dog. Be honest with you, but
right.
I mean, who knows? If I'm the Browns, I'd be calling for sure. But Patrick Queen in this system with JOK.
I mean, Jordan Brooks is still available too. I mean,
I'm a little biased Patrick Queen too because
Bobby Wagner's floating out there if you want.
he goes on JB's show during the season, those interviews. I listen to him too, and I like the guy a lot. So
Yeah.
you won't be mad at that. But what's your overall outlook right now? I mean, I think if I had to rank right now,
I'm going to be a homer. You know I'm going to be.
well, I feel like Harvey doesn't want to be a homer. I feel like the like people want to say, oh, the Ravens earned the number one spot, But what I saw in that playoff game, the meltdown, and the free agents now that are losing possibly,
And they lost their defensive coordinator, their
I see the
DBs
Browns
coach.
now getting receivers, getting Nick Chubb back healthy, getting the new
our
offense with
quarterback
Ken
back
Dorsey,
healthy.
getting our quarterback back healthy with the new offense, which I like, or Ken Dorsey in the building.
I really think we could be the number
Defense.
one.
I would probably put us number one, not being a homer, honestly.
I
really would.
honestly think this is
I
our
think we're
best
the
year.
we're the most balanced team at all the four.
This is the year we have to win the division.
Yeah.
And there you go, Dan. I said it. This is the year we have to win the division. This is the year.
So I would probably go Browns, Ravens. I'm not
Bengals.
I don't know, man.
Joe Burrow's back healthy. It's going to be the Bengals.
I know he is, but they can't keep him healthy.
If he stays healthy, it's the Bengals.
They're losing.
We're also counting on health for the number one spot. So if I'm counting on health, I'm putting the Bengals at 3. I think the Bengals are the better overall team. I am curious to see how it works out without Brian Callahan.
I don't know, man. I can't. They lost Brian Callahan. They lost, although I don't know. I mean, Zach Taylor.
They're going to lose T. Higgins. They lost Tyler Boyd, who's still a free agent.
That's what I'm saying. They lost 2 of their top 3 receivers.
He's still
they lost
out
their running back. They don't have a good O-line. They're losing
what if
DJ Reader.
That wouldn't be I would like that pickup over, like, if we still are looking for a speed option.
I got Pittsburgh, then Cincinnati. And I know Pittsburgh has the better quarterback, but it's not like Russell Wilson's some slouch. I mean, he is Russell Wilson. He had a good year. He had a decent year last year. He's in a better situation. I think they got Warren. They got Pickett.
I can't wait for Russell Wilson to miss George Pickens while he's I knew what you meant.
Pickens. They got Warren. Warren's a bad dude. I mean, and their defense keeps them in games, and I like their coaching a hell of a lot better. I think the Bengals are the worst team in the division right now, and I mean, you can't lose your starting running back.
I think that's you know what? I think that's a good points. Like, I think it go either way. But
I mean, I get Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow's one man. He has no help. They can't protect him. He's had 2 season-ending injuries already in his career. And he had a non-contact one last year in camp, which is not a good sign. I hope he stays, because I like Joe Burrow a lot. An Ohio kid, I root for him. But you're losing your running back who was there for a while, who was probably a B+ running back, pretty good. He was a starter. And you're losing 2 of your top 3 receivers. Now, if I'm a team too, if I have to scheme against them now, I mean, the Browns already had their number. Now we don't have to worry about the running back. We don't got to worry about. We could just double and put a safety over the top of Jamar Chase, because we're not worried about who's opposite of him now, because who they got?
Right.
Who's their tight end even? I don't know who the fuck.
Drew Sample, who they just re-signed.
I mean, they're the weakest team, and their defense has started to slowly decline too.
Yeah, they're losing.
When they
didn't they cut Cheeto?
Well, they lost their safety.
Yeah.
Last year. Now they're going to lose DJ Reader, who.
Well, I mean, if they want a safety, they can have their fucking pick this year.
Yeah, and they better. But you're in the AFC North too. All the running game you got to go against. You're losing your best run stopper,
DJ Reader, who I thought was their best defensive player.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, they still have Trey Hendricks. Is it Hendrickson or Hendricks?
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have Sam Hubbard, who I like, Buckeye, but the linebacking core is good. Logan Wilson. Yeah, they got a good linebacking core, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't. There's just too many holes, which is why if I'm them, I'm trading to Arizona, because they got the most picks, and give me some of them picks. We got to fill some gaps and spend a little dough.
Yeah,
but that's the problem, though. That's the problem with Cincinnati. I don't think they're going to win with Joe Burrow, because cheap ass ownership. I mean, they're padlocking the machines down there.
They didn't have Gatorade until 2020.
Right. It's all Joe Burrow's fault. I mean, Joe Burrow's probably got to pay out of his own pocket now to feed the team meals. I mean, it's that bad.
They charge players in the lunchroom. That's real.
They padlock the machines in the past. I mean, it's the cheapest ownership group probably maybe in all sports, or one of definitely in the NFL. I mean, they're pretty cheap, but I don't know, man. I think the Steelers are by far better ran, but also they're
I'll
just
agree
better.
with that.
I just think they're a way better team right now.
Okay. I mean,
Obviously, I get Joe.
I
and
don't
Joe
disagree
Burrow's,
with what you're saying. I
Joe
just,
Burrow
from my
before he.
perspective.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm ranking. If we're ranking the AFC North,
Yeah.
I'd probably go Browns, Ravens. Very thin though, and I get why people want to give the nod to the Ravens. I understand why. We haven't proven it yet, and I agree with that. Steelers, Bengals. For me.
And for me, it would be the same, except
You're
Bengals and
swapping.
Steelers would be swept.
Yeah.
Swept.
Swap. Swap. Swippity swap. I don't know. But before we get out of here, though, Mike, good hour today. Good start to day one of free agency. We'll be back this week, maybe tomorrow. We plan on trying to do this every day this week, so keeping up with it. Where do you think the Browns go, Mike? You've seen who's off the market now. What do you think is their top priority right now?
I mean, they're still looking at defensive tackle, and they're still looking at running back. 2 names to watch: DJ Reader, obviously, and at running back, Zach Moss, I think would be an interesting pickup.
That's a good one. Zach Moss. I'm trying to look here, see if there's any news, anything coming out. So you're saying, okay, so the Bears, Browns, and Lions are all interested in DJ Reader. What do you think of Antonio Gibson as a running back option?
I would have him on my list. I like Antonio Gibson a lot.
All right, Antonio Gibson. And that's about it. I don't really see any other news so far today. Calvin Ridley. The Jaguars, the Patriots are expected to make a push for him. The Panthers could also be in the Titans, so he's got a couple suitors out for him. I think Ridley is one to keep an eye out on. Yeah, I agree. I think the more we talk about the Patrick Queen, what do you think Patrick Queen's number is probably looking at?
Probably like 15 to 16 mil a year.
I'd go Patrick Queen. I like that. You're taking a division rival as one of their better defensive players. He's younger. He's got edge. He would fit the scheme well with JOK.
Right.
I like that one a lot.
I wouldn't mind him or Jerome Baker, honestly. Both.
I wrote down Jerome. I'm kind of biased to Jerome Baker because I saw him play at Benedictine in high school. He played against actually one of my best friends. He was a freshman at Hoban. Jerome was a senior at Benedictine and went on to Ohio State. Had a great career. Yeah, I think Jerome Baker's a good one because he's got the hometown feel vibe to it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
That one, although I like the Patrick Queen one a lot, but Jerome Baker's another one. You any other like sleeper guys you thought of, maybe?
I mean, Sheldon Rankins was already named, and he's a little bit of a sleeper. I mean, I was gonna call Jonathan Grenard a sleeper, but he already signed for a bunch of money. So at the moment, not really. I mean, the only sleeper thing I could see the Browns doing is signing another wide receiver like a Hollywood Brown.
Tyler Boyd.
Or Tyler Boyd. That would be interesting.
I'm
surprised it's been quiet about him. He was, you know.
I think I could see them making a splash in the defense for sure. Maybe the DJ Reader, or even I think a Patrick Queen could be an option. Although I think they'd probably go Reader first. That makes more sense. And get Jerome Baker. But I agree. It would be funny if we took both the Bengals players, Boyd and Reader.
That would be funny.
That would be funny. And they would still be the Kentucky Bungles. So
Bojo and the Bagels.
All right, don't tell us you run Ohio because you don't. Sorry, I hate to break it to you. Well, Mike, good day one. You got anything else
day
one before we get out of here? You want to tell them I need to like, subscribe, and share?
You got to like, you got to subscribe, and you got to share. It helps us against the algorithm. I can speak English. And and also, we'd love to hear what you have to say. So leave a comment down below. And yeah, it's great.
All right, love all you guys. Like, subscribe, share, all good one. Keep an eye out for us. We'll be back this week. And Mike's already ready. We'll see you guys in the next one. We're out of here. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Gone.